So parenting is something really important for me because in my work every day, I'm working a lot with the parents of autistic kids and also adults. And you know this very well that a lot of these parents are also autistic. It's some simple things. And I'm doing something what we are calling the psychoeducation. It's some type of work with the families, with the parents, sometimes some grandparents also, uh, how to how to support the autistic people in the family. And one of the most important topic for me, it's some safe attachment. Um, and it's a very important theory and was not around of the autism at all, but it's very important from my point of view also for the autistic families. But maybe the first question, the first important thing, it's what is the health? And you know, I'm sure that the health is completely independent of neurotype, and you can be completely healthy person with in the autism spectrum, and you can be not healthy. You can be very sick with the typical neurotype. So where is the point? Where is the problem? We know this very well that a lot of autistic people are not completely healthy and have a lot of problems. And in this moment, I would like to apologize. My good friend Jorik is here, and he helped me a lot in last weeks with one of my work. I would like to give you some special gift for everybody here, but I had not the time in last week because in last week in my center in the Poland we had group of the autistic kids with a lot of mental problems like depression, like OCD, like PTSD, and we spent with them 6 hours every day. Uh, we tried to support them and help them with their problems. And this was so much that I really had not the time to finish my work, Jorik. So thank you for your help. And I guess that in the next time, maybe I will be ready with this all, what I really want to give for everybody from the Autscape community. These people who have been on this summer on the Autscape remember that they had some few inventories. It's some type of the, how to say, some tests, maybe some questionnaire for the autistic people about the needs. And I think that the problem with the health is with this, that sometimes, and maybe usually, if you are autistic, we have a problem with care about our needs. What does this mean more? When our needs are not complete, we cannot take care about our needs. We have something what is calling trauma, and especially the biggest and I think the most hard trauma in our life, it's early childhood trauma, is the attachment trauma. It's something that is really very destructive for people, and it's very easy to have attachment trauma when you are autistic. Why? Not because autistic people have not safe parents, but a lot of parents of autistic kids have a lot of problems, and it's not easy to build a really very safe attachment with kids in the autistic families. It's not true, it's completely not true that if you have autistic children and you are autistic person, your autistic mother or father, your attachment will be absolutely safe with your kids. Sometimes I hear something like this, that people are talking that, oh, autistic kids have a problem because they have no autistic parents, so their attachment, it's not really good. But with autistic parents, everything it's really very well. It's not true, because our attachment, it's not about our neurotype. Our attachment, it's about our experiences. It's especially about our experiences in our childhood. So it's very easy, it's really very easy to build unsafe attachment. And if you see these points here on this slide, you see that it's especially very easy when you are autistic and you have a lot your not really very much safe experiences in your life. So it's easy have a problem with build the safe attachment with the children. This is my some recipe for the really unsafe attachment. And I see this a lot of times in the childhood of autistic kids. And I guess that this is not only problem in Poland. This is a problem everywhere, I guess. So it's possible to do something with this, I'm sure, yeah. It's completely possible. We can help, we can support, we can build a really very good relation with our autistic kids also. But maybe first we should see on our pattern of attachment. So we have safe attachment pattern, but also we have three of non-safe attachment pattern. First is ambivalent anxious. And if we are in this attachment pattern, probably we will be not easy to understand for children, especially for autistic children, because ambivalent behavior, it's something what autistic children really don't like, because you're changing your behavior, you're changing your emotion, you're changing everything very often. And it's not true that autistic people cannot be ambivalent. I know a lot of really ambivalent autistic parents, because if in their childhood they had to fight about the good bonds, good attachment with their parents, they had to wait for the love, for some care from the side of their parents, they will be ambivalent and they will be really very anxious. They will think about this, that, oh my God, I have a children. Now I have somebody who really loves me. And this is very dangerous, because your children are not because you need love. Your children need love. Your love, it's your problem, not your children. So it's not easy type of the attachment pattern for the autistic kids. Another one, also really very, very often in the life of the autistic kids, it's an avoidant attachment pattern. I don't know what in the another countries, but in Poland it's a really very typical situation, because in my country it's not good, have a visible emotion. It's some joke about Polish smile, that Polish people are not smiling. We are not very visible in the emotion for people. But for children, it's really very important to see emotion of the parents, and it's very important to show the emotion. And you notice very well that autistic kids have their individual emotional codes, have their individual some communication codes, some expression. It's really very individual. So it's also not easy for the parents to understand what emotion have autistic kid. And still, it's not true that for autistic parents it's easier, because they are also autistic. Because expression of emotion of non-autistic people, it's very similar. They have a really very similar expression. But expression of autistic people are very different. Everybody have very individual expression of emotion. So if you have not very good contact with your own emotion, probably you will also have a problem with recognize some emotion of kids. So this is why a lot of autistic kids and on the end autistic adults have this avoidant attachment pattern. And the last one, unsafe attachment pattern, is a disorganized. So a lot of people, a lot of scientists is calling this like lifelong prison. Because in your mind, love is the same what fight. You are fighting, this means that you love. You love, this means that you have to fight. And it's definitely not easy be in good relationship with your own children when you have this type of the attachment, because all the time you are ready for something what will be danger. And it's in the relation with kids, I think that nothing is obvious. So this type of the thinking that I have to be ready for something what is danger, it's not easy when you have a kids. So these three types of the attachment are really very often. I'm very disappointed that we have not a study about this. How is attachment pattern in the autistic families? But for true, we don't know a lot about the patterns of the relation, especially families' relation of autistic people. So if you have this unsafe attachment pattern, it's very simple. It's very possible that probably you also will have a problem with some dissociation. What's this mean, dissociation? Dissociation is some very simple copy mechanism and is very easy to have this copy mechanism, especially when you have a early childhood attachment trauma, because dissociation, you have access to dissociation from the early childhood. This is probably first copy mechanism what we have in our life. What does mean dissociation? This means that I can do something that I will have not contact with this what I'm feeling. I will have not contact with my emotion. I have to cut my emotion from myself. And it's not good to have this mechanism when you are parent, because kids need to have access to the emotion of parents. They need it to be really healthy. So what we can to do? What we can to do to make our experience not so hard for our kids? What we can to do to protect kids and build really good attachment in the autistic family? Because this what you see now, it's really not easy, and it's really very simple to do in the family, in the autistic family. So I think that very important is some conscious work of the parents around of their self-regulation. And we have a lot of websites, probably not only in Poland, but everywhere. It's a lot of websites about the parenting, but this is for non-autistic people. Some ideas there are about non-autistic people. This self-regulation, it's a lot about non-autistic people. And when I was reading some information about the self-regulation, a lot of times I had the idea, Jesus, this is not about me. It's not about my life. It's not about my style of thinking, how to do it, how to control myself, but not control like control, because control is not self-regulation. How to do it really safe and really good for the kids. So I started thinking, and I have some idea about this self-regulation for autistic parents. First, it's for everybody, because the first human regulation system is a parent. It's true. even we are autistic, so our attention, our focus is especially on the objects. When we are really very, very small, when we are infants, when we are really small babies, we need a contact with the parents, and our self-regulation is in the physical contact with the parents. So when you have this organization of the relation on this first weeks or months of the life, it's really not easy. And when you're autistic and you have your individual sensory profile, probably this sensory contact with the parents will be not easy for the autistic baby. So sometimes this first human regulatory system will be not work as well as we need it. So what we can to do? First, we need to search some really good strategies for the build some balance between our sensory profile and sensory profile of kids. And sometimes also autistic parents have a problem with their sensory needs in the context, especially with babies. A lot of autistic adults are talking about this, that cry of the children and some, their voice. It's not easy. So we need find some good balance with this, and we need to understand our strategies, our individual sensory profile, and be really very self-conscious in this, and need to ask about the help when we feel that this regulation is close, because autistic kids cannot be responsible about their regulation. This is a task of the parents. So another step, it's communication. I talked about the individual emotional and communication codes. It's something what is changing the communication way between the kids and parents. So first, task for adults, know very well and recognize very well our special individual emotional codes, to build some self-conscious, because this is a way also to the communication with children, individual codes. And next one, it's attention. It's attention in the non-autistic people, they have a focus on the people. They build the contact on the very simple way, person to person. But for autistic people, the contact is always between the object. So if we know this, that good relation, good attention, it's going during the objects, it's a very good to looking for some good objects will be some way to the regulation and way to the good relation with autistic kids. Is I think some very important conscious, because when we are looking around, everybody are talking about this, that we need some contact person to person. But this object, this object, but it's also some, I don't know, knowledge, as some situation, something what is really very important and really very interest for the people. This is a way for the good regulation and very good relation. Another one is a relation needs. What does this mean, relation needs? Does not mean that, we need have a contact as contact. Relation needs, it's something definitely more. It's trust, it's some exploration. It's everything what is building some space between the person, between the people. It's not easy to build the relation without care about relation needs. So for adults, task in this way, it's be a good, healthy mirror for kids. Like, see their emotion, see their individuality, and give them some mirror. And next one, it's a strategy, self-regulation strategy.
Joanna, sorry to interrupt, but you have used 20 minutes now. If you could start wrapping up and maybe take a few questions. We need to stay on schedule. Sorry about
that. I have 2 slides. So this is one and another one, and we'll have a time. So it's some connection with the thinking style. You know that autistic people have more analyst thinking style. And also what is the most important, from my opinion, it's have a self-regulation strategy connected with monotropism, because we cannot self-regulate it when we have a lot of, distraction around of us. And this is something what it's not easy, because nobody is teaching parents this, that we need some space for the monotropism in the relation with the kids. And the children are always a very big challenge for the parents' monotropism, because when you have a children, you have to be very focus on the very, very much things around you. So I don't know what is your self-regulation monotropism strategy. My always was a reading of books. I can, be completely focused on the book, and in this time I can rest completely. So my 3 kids are still alive, and I guess they are not in the bad situation. So this is everything.